your time out of your day to, come listen to me speak. To be quite honest, I'm not even sure what I want this podcast to be about in general. I guess we'll just have to figure it out as we grow together. Let's talk about the ups, the downs, the good times, and the bad. You'll come to learn that this podcast is for everyone here. I'll do my best to accommodate everyone who listens and who's going to listen. I remember sitting with my best friend saying, "Bro, let's start a podcast. Let's talk about life. Let's reach people. Let's share our experiences. Let's help others grow. Let's help them make life a little bit more bearable." But to be honest, I don't even know where to start. I guess it's as simple as just doing it. But that's the hard part. Where do you go? Where do you find the right tools? I think it's a question that everyone has a hard time answering, but it's a question that everyone will come to slowly start to understand as time passes. Talking to people has always been something I've enjoyed personally, you know, whether it's friends, family, you know, talking to a complete stranger out in the street. I believe strongly that everyone needs someone to talk to, someone to listen to them through the hard times and the bad. Just take a minute, really think about what I've said. Everyone needs someone to talk to, you know, everybody, even you, for the people that are listening. You know, life's hard and it's gonna get hard. And I'm only 20 years old. My birthday just passed, you know, you know, and it's weird because I don't really feel like I've been through enough yet, through anything for any, for that, for me to truly understand what's going on. I have no clue. Hell, even when you're around your mid 30s and up, you won't truly, you won't truly grasp what's going on around in your life. But that's life. The real question is, how do we get through life knowing that anything can happen, whether it's good, bad, neutral? We simply just don't know. It's a concept that we won't ever be able to grasp, but that's life. I sometimes struggle to determine my career path. My mother often scolds me, asking me, "Mario, well, why don't you just do this?" I wish it was just as simple as waking up one morning and finding purpose and then taking action. But it's not as easy as people make it seem like it is. One thing I strive for is purpose. Always have to strive for purpose in something better than yourself. People find that so hard to do. You know, I often tell my mother, that there's so much to do and we have so little time. I don't think that, you know, I'd be enthusiastic about just waking up every morning, going to work, repeat, repeat, repeat. I don't find myself enjoying that. Everyone seems to be all focused on what others expect from them rather than taking a step back and figuring out what they want for themselves. It's a bit redundant. You know, if you want to start your own business, you can do that. If you want to become a doctor, you can do that. If you want to write a book, you can do that. It's all in your mental. It's all about your mental, you know. If you wait, you become stagnant. Nothing gets done. How do you create an ideal life? How do you create that ideal life you want to live? There's no guidebook. There's no one, telling you how to live your life, how to structure your life. And things don't just fall into line because you want them to. If you want change, you must take control. Take it in the palm of your hand and force it to happen. I often sit back and think to myself, how can I grow? How can I get to the next step of my life? I've always had a problem with just simply doing it. A mental roadblock, if you will. I don't think of myself as a complicated person. I don't think anyone does. Not at all. I do want to make the most of my life, though. I don't want to waste any moment. That's why I strive to be better, not just for me, but for the people around me. as we should, as you should, you know, strive for greatness. Let's not worry about who has this, who's making this much money, who's dating who. Let's worry about what's in front of us. You know, let's take the time out of our day, really think. Take the time out of your day and really think. You know, we must grow as people, you know, so that we can become better human beings. My mother always, you know, she always just tells me everyone has a story to tell, you know, and I'm here to tell mine. You know, so with all that being said, thanks just for listening to the first episode of my podcast. You know, try to get back, you know, for more.